Hello everyone, how are you doing? In today's video, we will imagine what the world would be like if Nazi Germany had won World War II. Would we be living in a totalitarian, racist and violent regime? Would there be resistance and rebellion against the oppressors? Would science and culture have developed differently? Let's explore these and other questions in this alternative and frightening scenario. Before we start, I want to make it clear that this video does not intend to glorify or defend Nazism, which was one of the most cruel and nefarious movements in the history of humanity. The goal is just to do an exercise of imagination based on some sources and hypotheses that may or may not be true. I also want to apologize in advance if any information or image is offensive or painful for someone. It is not my intention to cause any harm, but rather to provoke a reflection on what could have been and what we can do to prevent something like this from happening again. So let's go. How would it be possible that Nazi Germany had won World War II? Well, there are several factors that could have changed the course of history, but let's focus on some of the main ones. One of them would be the neutrality of England. If Hitler had managed to invade or negotiate with the British, he would have avoided one of his biggest obstacles in Europe. Without the English resistance, he could have focused on attacking the Soviet Union, which was his main target. Another factor would be the non-declaration of war on the United States. If Hitler had respected the pact he had with Japan and Italy, he would not have provoked the entry of the Americans into the conflict. Without the support of the United States, the Allies would have been weakened and without resources to face the Axis. A third factor would be the technological and military superiority of the Nazis. If Hitler had invested more in nuclear weapons, rockets, jet planes and submarines, he would have a strategic advantage over his enemies. Moreover, if he had listened more to his generals and less to his delusions, he would have made smarter and more efficient choices on the battlefield. With these factors combined, we can imagine that Nazi Germany would have defeated the Allies and conquered most of Europe, Africa and Asia. The world would be divided into two blocks, the Reich led by Hitler and the United States led by Roosevelt. The two countries would compete for world hegemony, waging a Cold War that could explode at any moment. The other countries would be subjected to domination, exploitation, or annihilation by the Nazis, depending on their ethnicity, religion, or ideology. What would life be like in this world? Well, for the Germans and other peoples considered Aryans, it would be a life of privilege, prosperity, and pride. They would have access to education, health, culture and cutting-edge technology, as well as being encouraged to reproduce and expand the superior race. For the Jews, the Gypsies, the Slavs, the Blacks, the Asians and other peoples considered inferior, it would be a life of suffering, oppression and extermination. They would be enslaved, exploited, tortured, humiliated and killed in concentration camps, ghettos or massacres. For those who resisted or opposed the regime, it would be a life of persecution, repression and terror. They would be hunted, imprisoned, interrogated, executed or sent to forced labor camps. What would science and culture be like in this world? Well, for the Nazis, it would be a science and a culture at the service of the state, the ideology and the war. They would develop ambitious and innovative projects in the fields of engineering, medicine, physics, chemistry, biology, psychology, and others. However, these projects would have the objective of increasing the military power, improving the Aryan race and eliminating the undesirables. For this, they would have no scruples in using guinea pigs. They would use human beings to conduct cruel experiments and violate their rights and dignity. For those who did not fit the aesthetic, moral and political standards of the Nazis, it would be a science and a culture of censorship, destruction and loss. They would have their works of art, literature, music, cinema and other forms of expression banned, burned or stolen. They would have their thoughts, beliefs, identities and memories denied, repressed or erased. This would be, in general terms, the world if Nazi Germany had won World War II. A world of horror, injustice and violence. A world that fortunately did not become reality, but that serves as a warning for us to never forget what happened and to never let it happen again. As the writer George Orwell said, "Who controls the past controls the future. Who controls the present controls the past." I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to our channel to help us grow. See you soon.